So, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about Trump, tariffs, lack of respect Mark Carney has for Canada, how Mark Carney even is able to come back and forth so easily and do business, heavy business here in Canada. I'm thinking that our country has been taken over by lawyers who become politicians, who then become parts of banking industries. Those three sectors have connected and crossed the T's and dotted I's of all the paperwork of each other. The personal financial paperwork of each person in politics or banking and probably in law enforcement as well, Secret Service. They're all connecting far too close, and not all law enforcement, but definitely areas of law enforcement will have some corruption in it right now. 100%. There's no possibility that this isn't a thing. We need to create a transparent, not a secret service, but a service for the people to oversee, and we the people have to make sure that the governing body is doing its job. Now, we're not able to do that because every time the RCMP or somebody comes back with a huge thing of corruption, they do it. I just read last week the RCMP came back and found after a second review, oh, it was the building here in Winnipeg, the police headquarters. Let me pull up this article before we go. I want to show you. I'm going to explain to you what's in my head so you can understand. Everything is connected, but unless you're smart enough to connect the dots, you're going to live in a smoky world that you can't see or breathe, and you can't walk or get anywhere because you don't want to move because you could fall off a cliff or something you can't see, right? So you're scared to move. You're scared to do anything. RCMP officials find no wrongdoing with Winnipeg Police Headquarters after a second review. After second look, Manitoba prosecutors say no charges coming in Winnipeg 4 days ago. This is the CBC, which I refuse to read. Winnipeg Free Press is an equally greasy company. I refuse to read that. Winnipeg Sun, let's see what they say. No criminal charges in Winnipeg Police Headquarters investigation inquiry announced. February 27th, the Manitoba Prosecution Service, the MPS, anytime that you have a three-letter word or a four-letter abbreviated word, you can almost guarantee that one, two, or half that building is corrupt, okay? There are people who are... Well, I'll give you a reason that how this works. Right now in the Canadian politics, Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre, and many others have said that the political realm in Ottawa has been overtaken with there's persuasion from other countries, and other countries have planted people within our parliament. You understand what I just said? Planted. They are in control of. So we had to disband it. They don't tell you this, but I'm telling you this because it's in the papers, and for 2 years, the police have been, the other countries have been threatening politicians in Canada. Let me pull it up. You can't, it's hard to understand because you're not really, again, most of you just watch Netflix, right? RCMP are investigating politicians being threatened by other countries' politicians. Okay, June 8th, a new national security report alleges some members of parliament have conspired with foreign actors. Now, do you know what an actor is? Do you guys know that within every province or state you live in, there are actors? These actors provide the... So whenever the legislation needs to be adjusted, they pull out an actor to show... well, first they use... So the actor will be told, do these horrible, devastating things to these groups of people or this area. And then what happens next is... It's called a false flag, okay? America is notorious for false flag events. Google it. I have to tread very, like, I'm not scared. I'm making sure you guys are able to repeat what I'm saying because there's a lot of Muppets that are going to do this. I want you to be safe when you repeat it. You're not nowhere on my level. So, if an actor is sent out to a Safeway or an IGA or a grocery store and they do horrible, horrible atrocities at that place, right? Then somehow one reporter was on scene with their fucking camera in hand, live as it's happening. That's not possible. That's not possible. So here in Canada, this happened a lot in 2020, and I caught it on tape. My wife saw; she couldn't believe what she was seeing, and many others couldn't believe it either. So one thing live is you can read between the lines of people who are good and evil. And some good people found evil people in a crowd and outed them and said, why are you the only ones wearing a mask carrying those flags with swastikas? And Canadians were pissed. They were like, get out of this crowd right now. You're not part of our crowd. But those were state actors brought in by certain news agencies within this pissant little media organization here in Canada. 3 companies control all the news in Canada. And that's not even no Canadian has ever questioned that. We should have 87 news outlets per province. So that if you want to know the truth, it's not put out by the same billionaire in another province because the billionaire in Toronto paid for it in BC. So that the BC billionaire is like, oh, okay, I'll run his story. He paid $50,000 a second for 40 days worth of ads. We'll take it. That's what they do. This is how the world works. They buff up their companies. All of their companies provide the suits. They own the salons. They own all the makeup. Everything you could think of. They own all of that. And then they put it into their own media station and they backdoor all of that. Now you take that word backdoor and you put it into the world. On the world scale, not a provincial little bumpkin level. Let's say that they're backdooring Canada right now. Let's say, for instance, let's use a hypothetical as you will, okay? We're going to say that, for instance, Mark Carney made a deal to backdoor sell Canada to the States, right? Wouldn't that be disgusting? What if it becomes true, right? So in Canada, we don't have a prime minister. So I want to run for Prime Minister of Canada. I want to be completely legit, straight up and transparent. I'm going to grow copious amounts of hemp in the fields behind the White House, or where, like, I'm not in the White House in Canada. I don't know what my building is called here in Canada. It's like the White House, but it's the Canadian White House. I'm going to grow hemp from one end of the White House floor to the other in Canada. Okay? Next thing I'm going to do is provide income to those with no income, but only enough that you can provide yourself with shelter, food, and you can't use it for drugs or alcohol or cigarettes or gambling. Okay? I'm going to keep you guys healthy and safe. Something any other government has never done for you before. So I promise you, when I'm elected Prime Minister of Canada, number one thing I'm going to do is make fun of Trudeau and Trump every day live on CPAC. Every fucking morning, I'm going to go live in front of a podium with green maple leaves. I ain't playing. And we're going to have a great time for 8 years, we're going to have a great time. We're never going to let Mark Carney back into the country of Canada again. I want to find out exactly who hired Mark Carney to become something here in Canada within the last 20 years. I want them fired or put in jail immediately. And I got a bunch more new things that I'm going to bring to the table. Every single politician that has any money over and above, I want the IRS to look at every politician in Canada. And I want to make every business that makes more than $50 million in Canada, they are going to pay 150% more taxes. And they're going to alleviate the poorest people's complete taxes forever. They're going to cover the taxes of the poorest people in Canada forever. Elect me for Prime Minister of Canada. I refuse to tax Canadian people. I refuse to make you pay for water, and I refuse to have oil and gas prices as high as they are. I will bring them down 50 to 60%. I promise you 66% relief for the first year I'm in office. The first year. So trust me when I say I'm going to make sure that I don't bankrupt Canada like all these sad fucks have done. I'm going to empower Canada. I'm going to make deals with proper businessmen who want to be live on CPAC and discuss the deal live before the Canadian people. You are my heart and soul, and I promise you, I will free you. I promise you. I also want a charity kickboxing match. Trudeau, Trump, any other bitch prime minister or president that thinks they are fucking cool, you are allowed to hop in the ring at the same fucking time. I'm gonna absolutely fucking spin kick every one of you. For the kids, it's for charity. This is gonna be a kickboxing match for charity. And a nice strawberry plant-based protein shake from Costco. My wife has her protein shake as well. I'm coming, babe. Well, guys. Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing. I got another one for Canadians. I swear to the gods, Pierre, if you try and steal one of my goddamn things, there's something more criminal than anything, and that's somebody who steals a good person's ideas and then names them for themselves. My wife just suggested, and I highly agree with it, that if you work 2 jobs, you should only be taxed 40 hours a week. Let's say you work 80 hours a week, you should only be taxed for 40. This way, people in Canada who are trying to get ahead, you're able to now. We aren't going to sit and keep you down forever. Also, I think if you are, maybe we should increase the tax bracket to the lowest tax bracket should go up. We should bump it up $100,000 and then drop the percentage 10%, 15% right away. So those are 2 positives for the lowest tax bracket. Meaning you could make $275,000 a year. I'm just throwing a number out. I don't know. I have to look at the thing. I think it's 250 or it was 150. Now it'd be 250. We'll look at it. 250, 275 would be the first tax bracket, from $1 or whatever to 275,000. If you fit in that bracket, you pay 15-20% taxes. I want it very low. But the first year I want you to pay 66% less taxes than you did last year. So whatever you paid, we'll 66% it. If 15% is lower than what you paid, we'll give you 15%. We'll be like the fucking Monopoly game. All right? I'm here to help you, not hinder you. Remember that. My name's Sean. I live in Winnipeg. You go check out my videos, check out my face, check out my heart, and remember, I am fucking coming to be Prime Minister of Canada. There is nothing you can do now to stop me. This is my next move in life. Prime Minister of fucking Canada. Fear me, devil, evil fucking scum corporations. I'm coming for you.